In the depths of folklore and the annals of mythology, there exists a peculiar and enigmatic creature known as the Goblin. These mischievous, often malevolent beings have captured the imaginations of countless generations, their origin shrouded in the mists of time and the cobwebs of legend. To uncover the story of where goblins came from and how they were invented, we must embark on a journey through history, myth, and the human imagination. The word goblin itself is believed to have originated from the Old French word gobelin or the Middle English word gobelin, both of which trace their linguistic roots back to the medieval Latin term gobelinus. These linguistic breadcrumbs lead us to the early European tales of diminutive, supernatural beings who were often associated with the darker corners of the world. Yet, the true genesis of goblins reaches far beyond the realm of words and etymology. One of the earliest recorded appearances of goblin-like creatures can be found in the ancient folklore of various cultures. In Germanic folklore, for instance, we encounter the concept of kobolds, small, impish creatures who were thought to dwell underground and play tricks on humans. These kobolds bear a striking resemblance to the goblins of later European tales, with their penchant for mischief and their subterranean abodes. But it's in the rich tapestry of British folklore that we find a particularly intriguing precursor to goblins: the Puck or Robin Goodfellow. Puck, a mischievous and often playful trickster figure, appears in the works of William Shakespeare and other Elizabethan playwrights. He embodies many characteristics that would later define goblins: his small stature, his ability to shapeshift, and his penchant for creating havoc in the lives of mortals. While these early depictions of goblin-like creatures set the stage, it was during the Middle Ages that the concept truly crystallized. In medieval Europe, a belief in the supernatural was rampant, and the line between the physical and spiritual worlds was often blurred. It was a time of superstition and fear, and goblins emerged as the personification of these anxieties. They were blamed for all manner of misfortunes, from stolen belongings to crop failures, and were said to lurk in the darkest recesses of forests, caves, and abandoned buildings. In literature, goblins began to take on a more defined shape and character. Notably, they appeared in classic works like The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, where they were portrayed as creatures of greed and malice, guarding their ill-gotten treasures with ruthless determination. Tolkien's goblins, with their grotesque appearance and complex societies, played a significant role in shaping the modern image of these creatures. As time marched on, goblins found their way into various forms of popular culture, from fantasy novels to tabletop role-playing games. They became versatile figures, adapting to the needs of different stories and evolving alongside human imagination. In essence, goblins were not so much invented as they were woven into the fabric of human storytelling over centuries. They emerged from the collective subconscious, a manifestation of our fears, desires, and fascination with the mysterious and supernatural. They are the embodiment of the unknown lurking in the shadows, a reflection of our ever-evolving relationship with the mystical and otherworldly. And so, the story of goblins continues to evolve, a testament to the enduring power of myth and the boundless creativity of the human mind. Whether they are depicted as cunning tricksters or sinister villains, goblins will forever remain a captivating and enigmatic presence in the world of folklore and fiction. The goals and desires of goblins, a topic as elusive and varied as the creatures themselves. To understand what goblins want, we must delve deeper into their multifaceted nature, exploring the threads of myth, literature, and folklore that have woven together over the centuries. First and foremost, goblins are known for their insatiable greed. These diminutive beings are often driven by a relentless desire for wealth and treasure, often hoarded away in hidden lairs deep within the earth. This insatiable lust for riches can lead them to commit all manner of misdeeds, from stealing from unsuspecting travelers to raiding villages in search of precious artifacts. In the realm of myth, goblins are not mere miscreants. They often embody a darker aspect of human nature. They can symbolize the destructive forces of chaos and disorder, seeking to disrupt the harmony of the world. In this sense, their goals extend beyond material wealth to the pursuit of anarchy and disruption, sowing discord wherever they tread. Yet, goblins are not without nuance. In some tales, they display a more complex set of desires. For instance, in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, goblins, or orcs as they are often called, serve powerful dark lords like Sauron and seek to conquer and dominate all other races. Their goals extend beyond simple greed to include a lust for power, control, and the subjugation of other creatures. In other stories, goblins are depicted as beings with a more playful and mischievous nature. Their goals may involve tricking humans or other creatures for their own amusement rather than out of malevolence. They may steal items not for their intrinsic value but to watch the chaos and confusion that ensues. Goblins are also known for their cleverness and cunning. They often employ guile and subterfuge to achieve their goals, using traps, deception, and stealth to outwit their adversaries. In this way, their goals may involve outsmarting and humiliating those they perceive as their enemies. In summary, the goals and desires of goblins are as diverse as the stories that feature them. From their insatiable greed for wealth and treasure to their desire to disrupt the natural order, seek power, or simply indulge in mischief, goblins are complex and multifaceted creatures. They reflect different facets of human nature and continue to captivate our imagination as they pursue their goals in the vast tapestry of folklore and fiction. Delve into the depths of goblin society, and you'll uncover a complex web of hierarchy, customs, and interactions that mirror the multifaceted nature of these mythical beings. In various mythologies and fictional worlds, goblins exhibit intriguing social structures and ways of life. Within goblin society, leadership often takes the form of a chieftain or a king. This hierarchical structure can vary depending on the story or setting, but there's typically a figure of authority who commands respect and obedience. Goblins might follow this leader out of fear, loyalty, or a combination of both. In some tales, goblin society is divided into distinct clans or tribes, each led by its own chieftain. These clans might compete with each other for resources or territory, leading to power struggles and rivalries. Such internal strife can add depth to goblin societies, as they navigate not only external threats but also internal conflicts. A notable aspect of goblin culture is their craftsmanship, particularly in forging weapons and crafting traps. They take pride in their ability to create cunning devices, often using them to protect their lairs or waylay unsuspecting adventurers. Craftsmanship, then, becomes a source of prestige within their society, with skilled artisans enjoying a higher status. Goblin interactions are governed by a mix of cooperation and self-interest. They form alliances when it suits their goals, but these alliances are often fragile and subject to betrayal if a more advantageous opportunity arises. Goblins are known for their cunning and resourcefulness, traits they use to exploit situations to their advantage. Another interesting facet of goblin society is their relationship with other fantastical creatures. They may form uneasy alliances with beings like trolls or dark wizards, trading their services or knowledge in exchange for protection or power. These alliances can add intrigue and complexity to their social dynamics. Despite their reputation for malevolence, goblins can also display camaraderie and loyalty within their own ranks. They often band together when facing common enemies or threats, displaying a sense of unity when their survival is at stake. In these moments, they showcase a more human side, reminding us that even the most mythical creatures have their moments of solidarity. In the rich tapestry of mythology and fiction, Goblin society serves as a reflection of human society, with its hierarchies, rivalries, alliances, and traditions. It's a testament to the creativity of storytellers who have breathed life into these creatures, endowing them with intricate cultures that continue to captivate and intrigue. So, as you explore the realms where goblins dwell, remember that beneath their grotesque appearances and mischievous nature lies a social structure as diverse and intriguing as any human society. Indeed, goblins are not solitary figures in the realms of myth and fantasy. They have their fair share of enemies and adversaries, often rooted in the lore and legends where they dwell. One of their most enduring and well-known foes is the race of elves. In various mythologies and fictional worlds, goblins and elves are portrayed as natural rivals. Elves, often depicted as graceful and ethereal beings, stand in stark contrast to the crude and malevolent goblins. These two races clash over territory, resources, and ideology, with the elves typically representing the forces of light and goodness, while goblins embody darkness and chaos. Dwarves, renowned for their craftsmanship and resilience, are another set of adversaries that goblins frequently encounter. The enmity between goblins and dwarves often centers around disputes over underground territories, precious minerals, and treasure hoards. These conflicts can lead to epic battles beneath the earth, as each race defends its ancestral homes and riches. In some stories, humans also become the enemies of goblins, driven by their desire to eradicate these troublesome creatures from their lands. Goblins' penchant for mischief, theft, and disruption often puts them at odds with human settlements, leading to skirmishes and clashes as humans seek to protect their communities and resources. Another intriguing antagonist for goblins can be found in the form of more powerful, malevolent entities. Dark wizards, necromancers, or ancient evil spirits might view goblins as expendable minions or nuisances to be eradicated. These supernatural adversaries add layers of complexity to the goblins' struggles, forcing them to contend not only with mortal enemies but also with forces beyond their understanding. Dragons, the majestic and fearsome creatures of legend, can also pose a threat to goblins. Dragons often guard vast hoards of treasure, and goblins' insatiable greed can lead them into perilous confrontations with these mighty beasts. The clash between goblins and dragons represents a battle of wits and brawn, with the outcome hanging in the balance. Goblins, with their cunning and resourcefulness, are well suited to navigating a world filled with enemies. Their ability to form alliances when necessary and their knack for utilizing traps and ambushes make them formidable opponents, even against more powerful adversaries. In the vast tapestry of folklore and fiction, goblins' enemies play a crucial role in shaping their narratives. These conflicts provide depth and tension to the stories in which goblins are featured, reminding us that even in the realms of myth and fantasy, there are always forces of opposition and struggle. As the enigmatic creatures they are, goblins have often drawn the attention of hunters, adventurers, and those who seek to rid their lands of these mischievous beings. The methods and tactics employed by goblin hunters vary depending on the lore and world in which they exist. One common thread among goblin hunters is their resourcefulness. Goblins are known for their cunning, and to outsmart them, hunters must be equally clever. Tracking is a vital skill, allowing these hunters to follow the elusive creatures through dense forests, winding tunnels, and treacherous terrain. Often, goblin hunters have a deep understanding of the creature's habits and behaviors, which they use to predict their movements. In terms of equipment, goblin hunters typically arm themselves with an assortment of weapons suited to dealing with these diminutive but wily foes. Swords, daggers, and other close combat weapons are favored for dealing with goblins in close quarters. The hunter's gear might also include ranged weapons like bows or crossbows for picking off goblins from a distance. Traps play a significant role in goblin hunting. Knowing that goblins are adept at ambushes and guerrilla warfare, hunters often set elaborate snares and pitfalls along well-traveled paths or near known goblin lairs. These traps can range from concealed pits with spikes to snares triggered by tripwires, all designed to incapacitate or kill goblins without the need for direct confrontation. Hunters might also employ the use of decoys and bait to lure goblins into a trap. Shiny objects, pieces of treasure, or even captured goblins from previous hunts can be used to pique the curiosity of these creatures, drawing them into carefully laid ambushes. In some tales, goblin hunters utilize magic or enchanted items to aid in their pursuits. Protective amulets or potions that enhance their senses or strength can be invaluable when facing off against goblins and their tricks. Additionally, spells or magical wards may be used to detect the presence of goblins or protect the hunters from their enchantments. The tactics employed by goblin hunters are as diverse as the stories they inhabit. Some may prefer stealth and subterfuge, attempting to infiltrate goblin lairs under cover of darkness. Others might form specialized teams, each member skilled in a different aspect of goblin hunting, from tracking to trap setting. In the end, the lore of goblin hunters reflects the creativity of storytellers who have woven intricate narratives around these mythical creatures. Whether they employ cunning, brute force, or a combination of both, goblin hunters serve as a counterbalance to the crafty and unpredictable nature of goblins, adding depth and excitement to the tales in which they appear. Certainly, goblins, those enigmatic creatures that have captivated our imaginations for centuries, have left their mark on various cultures across the world. Let's explore some fascinating facts about goblins from different cultural perspectives. In European folklore, goblins are often depicted as small, grotesque creatures with a penchant for mischief and malevolence. They were believed to dwell in caves, forests, and abandoned buildings. These goblins were notorious for causing night terrors and nightmares, tormenting humans as they slept. Goblins were often blamed for mysterious disappearances, stolen items, and crop failures, contributing to their reputation as troublemakers. In Germanic folklore, the kobold is a close cousin to the goblin. These beings were thought to inhabit underground mines and were often invoked as protectors by miners. However, they were known to be capricious and could turn malevolent if not appeased with offerings and respect. In Japanese folklore, the Tengu shares some characteristics with goblins, although they have a distinct appearance with long noses and the ability to fly. Tengu are sometimes seen as guardians of the mountains and forests, but they can also be mischievous tricksters who lead travelers astray. In Chinese mythology, the Huli Jing, or fox spirits, can be considered similar to goblins in some aspects. These spirits often take the form of seductive women to deceive and harm humans. Huli Jing are known for their shape-shifting abilities and their propensity to cause havoc. Various Native American tribes have their own versions of little people or little spirits, which bear similarities to goblins. These beings are often seen as mischievous but can also be helpful or protective. Native American folklore, particularly among the Wampanoag and Algonquian tribes, includes stories of pukwudgies. These creatures are described as small, troll-like beings with magical abilities. Pukwudgies were known to be both helpful and dangerous, capable of aiding humans or leading them to harm. They could fire poisonous arrows and create fire at will, making them unpredictable and formidable entities in the tales of indigenous peoples. In the mining regions of Cornwall, England, goblins were often blamed for accidents and disturbances in the mines. Miners would leave offerings of food and drink to appease the knockers, a type of underground goblin. If miners heard knocking sounds deep within the mines, it was believed to be the knockers' warning of impending danger. The concept of these subterranean goblins served to explain the mysterious and sometimes perilous conditions in the mines. These lesser-known stories and aspects of goblin lore highlight the diversity of cultural interpretations and regional variations in the perception of these mythical beings. Whether they are viewed as seductive tempters in Victorian poetry, as untamed spirits in Norse mythology, or as enigmatic creatures in Native American tales, goblins continue to play a fascinating role in our collective storytelling heritage.